This was a video that was completely not planned. It wasn't a topic that I ever thought I needed or wanted to address, but it's actually really, really important. And it relates to a video that I posted in my Facebook group yesterday, and I'm going to explain it all to you so you don't necessarily have to go looking for it. 4D, AI, manipulation, spirituality, and discernment. These are the topics of today's video, and it's super, super important. Now, as you already know, by being someone that typically follows my work, I don't do conspiracy theories. I don't entertain duality, polarity, smack talking people. I don't do any of that because I know what my role is, and I know that ultimately the goal is that we are here to alchemize and dissolve all forms of duality. So there kind of is no point in spending time or energy. It's just a distraction, and it's a poor use of our life force to go to those places. However, being aware of the bigger picture is not a waste of resources. So it's a both and. But once you've kind of dipped your toe into those domains and you kind of get the gist of what's been going on, pull your toe back out and get back into your own inner work, because that's where the magic happens. All right, so what I want to start this video with is just a really brief overview of sort of the dimensional fields, and then that will lead into where I'm going with this. So in the third dimension, it's run by the inverted matrix, the time matrix, the false matrix, the leaders of the matrix. It is a construct that is unawakened and highly programmed. We've all been there. The fourth dimension is still the matrix, but it's the matrix, and what's weaving its way into the matrix is divinity and awakenedness and light at the same time. So I often talk about how 4D is your training ground. It's where both exist. Some call it spiritual war. It's where both exist at the same time, and it's your training ground where you do your healing, where you learn discernment, where you align yourself to divine truth. So in the 4D space, which is not physical, it's etheric, both spirituality, divinity, and the matrix programs all exist in the same space. So what does this lead to? This leads to the understanding that when you woke up, when you had your awakening in whatever form and way it came through you, you woke up out of 3D and you popped into 4D. You became a fourth dimensional being upon that activation that woke you. Then you went into spiritual community, whatever that looked like for you, whether it was law of attraction or meditation or ceremonies, whatever it was, that was your sort of next step. And this is why I do a lot of content around it's time to wake up from spirituality and breaking apart a lot of those constructs, because we're moving through that now. It's not that it never served you. It's not bad, but a lot of people get stuck there, especially the people that have been awake for a very long time. They think that that is like that version of spirituality is it. And it's not. It's another matrix controlled illusionary space. A lot of the spiritual stuff is. So where that leads me in the conversation is that the matrix controllers, we'll call them, have people strategically placed in spiritual community and spiritual teachings in order to maintain some level of control through manipulation to keep the people corralled within that matrix container. So there's the unawakened that are in 3D, and then you have the partial, like the awakened, but like there's still a baby awakened that are in the 4D that have become very loyal followers of many different guru type leaders and teachers of spiritual concepts, where the leaders themselves, those people, are still a part of the matrix. They're still under the loyalty of the matrix program. So there's going to be an undoing in that space as well as we move forward. And at the same time, because ascension can't be prevented at all, it's a foregone conclusion, it's happening, it cannot be stopped. The only thing that's left is for the opposing side, the controllers of the matrix, to try and pull back, as many people as they possibly can, to slow the ascension process down, to throw as many snafus and rocks onto the road and throw the kitchen sink in the way, to try and slow down, snag up some people. They're just sort of grappling to try and keep the ascension from happening, but it can't ever be stopped. So we have these spiritual leaders and teachers that many of you have maybe followed, maybe feel still very loyal to. And what I'm delivering in this message is not to judge you or shame you in any way, shape, or form, because ultimately everything serves, but there's going to be an unraveling that's going to happen in that space. There's going to be a lot of manipulation that's going to happen within that space, again, in an attempt to try and pull people back. And there's going to be the undoing, and then there's going to be the need and the call from your higher self and your soul to really dismantle any loyalty, any further programming that you have taken on through these leaders that do not serve you. So that's big. So how did this whole thing this whole concept of this video, how was it birthed? A little bit of a detour in the conversation so I can bring you to the point. I have noticed personally that when I'm scrolling through social media or whatever on my phone, that I'm starting to catch the pixels coming into the screen and then forming into the graphic or the word in real time as I'm scrolling. Now you would say technology is really glitchy and maybe it's because of Mercury retrograde and blah, 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 blah. Yeah, okay, maybe. But what I believe is really happening is that we are starting to realize in the physical, in the now real time, how sped up and how high our frequency is, that it's at the point now where the technology that we weren't seeing, like I would never have saw that before. And now I'm seeing it in real time. It's interesting that our frequency has actually exceeded the speed of the technology. The other thing that I've noticed is watching TV. So I watch TV in the evening, and I have a certain, two different certain domains of shows that I like to watch. I quite often watch a lot of reality TV. Reality in the sense of, people that have gone to prison that never should have, unsolved crimes, true crimes, stuff like that involves some form of sentience, which is what I'm coming to in the rest of this video. The other thing that I like to watch is like a really well-written TV drama. And I've been trying to settle myself to watch something like that, because the whole true crime prison thing can get to be a little bit heavy energetically in the evenings. So I switched to try and find shows that were just well-written dramas. And I'd watch a couple of episodes, it wouldn't catch me, I'd try something else. I asked around, what are you watching? I tried. So finally I was like, okay, there's something more to this other than just I'm a little bit ADHD and all of those things. When I went within, what I saw, what I understood was that when you watch a scripted program, the person who is the actor is not emanating in their own sentientness, in their own frequency, because they're acting. And then the script is another layer on top of the fact that they're not in their own personal essence, where they're now, like that's just another layer. And then they're in an environment doing things that perhaps they themselves would never do. So now they're not being themselves. Now they're saying things that they may not naturally say that don't align with their soul frequency. and they're in environments doing things that they maybe not naturally would have done. And that is what it was getting caught for me, is the discord, the density of watching real true crime shows was easier for me to be able to transmute and alchemize while I was watching it. That was easier than the discordance of, I can feel the sentient nature of the person who is the actor as a real person, but now they're acting weird and they're saying weird things and they're doing things they would never do. And the whole discordance of the energy was making those shows very difficult for me to watch. So that was another interesting sort of meeting the new version in real time, in physicality, that being able to tune into sentience, which I would describe as being the person's like frequency, their essence, their soul signature, the who they emanate as a divine being, being able to connect to that and then figuring out where the discordance feels. So it's very different. Like when I sit with a client, they come and open themselves up and I'm in a container and they've paid and the purpose of it is all aligned and integrated for me to be able to tune into everything about them and what's been going on with them that needs my attention. That's very different. I don't do that when I'm out in the world. Like when I'm out in the world and standing in line at the grocery store, I'm not tuning into the people around me. Like that would be crazy making for me. So I don't do that. I can sense when, again, I'm following other teachers or scrolling through social media, I can sense when there is a discordance. There's a difference between someone not being in their sentient nature and someone and just having their heart closed because they still have like work to do to open up and connect to their own divinity. I can sense their sentientness. I can feel their inner child. But I can also tell like that their heart is still closed. They're still in their human heart, not their divine ascension portal heart. So that I can tell. So this is what happened. Last night I was scrolling and I came across a video. And again, I do not want this to be about this person. It is none of our business. But the example is a good teaching for why I'm making this video today. I came across a video of Dr. Joe Dispenza. And my whole sentience did a, what the what? And I stopped and I watched it and I really received it all. I received his words, his sentience, his lack of sentience, looked into his eyes. I felt what I couldn't feel. There was no sentience there, none at all. To the point where my body it did that feeling. I got a little nauseated, a little gaggy, and my whole body clenched up while I watched this very short clip. Again, I don't want this video to be about him. None of our business. So I walked away from it, got really integrated back into myself, and I'm like, okay, go at it again, because it was a little unexpected when you're scrolling. I'm like, go in it again and read it. So I went in and I read it, and I was like, this is AI. This is AI created to look and sound exactly like him. Or this is me being able to see him with all three eyes through the eyes of consciousness. Like maybe this is how he has always been, but because now I'm in a space where I'm starting to operate from the consciousness that can see the distortions in the fourth dimension, not just in the third, there was something not right. Now, the video itself was also not right because he was talking about mind-heart coherence, which is true, because what better way to lie to people than to weave some truth into it? So the mind-heart coherence is a true thing. However, a purified mind that does not project and create its reality based on wounds, traumas, and programs, a purified mind or a purified ego in coherence with the pure, open, divine heart someone that's done all their work and opened their heart to divinity and alignment as a portal for ascension, is what the mind, heart, coherence, toroidal field is all about. But his teachings never really go there, in my awareness. It's more fourth dimensional spiritual teaching, which again has served everyone as far as it needed to serve. But it's also time to expand, to release yourself, and to move on. So the purpose of this video is to understand that I have a feeling that this is going to be the next trick. That AI has this incredible ability to replicate 3D, 4D human beings in a way that if you're in the 3D, 4D space, you can't tell the difference. We are now aware that the fourth dimensional spiritual teachers and gurus, many of them are still in loyalty to the Matrix program. So you may find going forward that there'll either be an undoing for some of these people. There may be that these AI type videos and content that are made in the likeness of these people are going to start to offer some kind of manipulative teaching that maybe they'll say that it's a fifth dimensional thing and it's really not. I thought I had one more example, but now I can't remember. So I just wanted you to be aware that the sentient nature, the essence frequency of the person is what you are looking to feel. What we have worked on all of this time through clearing out all of our feelings, all of the grief, the trauma, the disappointment, the childhood wounding, all of the feeling that we have been doing that's been the feeling that's healing us, has been so that our extrasensory senses that are more aligned to our divinity and our ability to feel could come online. We've been clearing the backlog so that we could feel for exactly this time in humanity. That the teachings are outdated. Many of the teachers that we have looked up to are still a part of the Matrix program. And now you add in this whole AI ability that is beyond anyone's true understanding or imagination. And I'm not saying that all AI is bad, because everything is just a tool. It's how you use it. Is going to open up another opportunity for manipulation in the spiritual communities to come through people that we once trusted. And it's going to be up to you to use your own personal discernment to really pay attention to, do these teachings align with fifth dimensional template? Does this person that's being projected on a screen, are they in their sentient nature, or is this some creation of AI that looks like they're who they say they are or who you would think that they are? And just pay attention that, so when I posted the video in my Facebook group of Dr. Joe Dispenza in this alternated form that I found him in on TikTok, the programming is that the people went directly to what he was teaching and then commented in the comments like something like, oh yes, love and light and heart and mind, and we have to keep them going together, and a little heart emoji. And I was like, no, people, like, there's your programming. There's your programming right there, that you, and not a judgment, no one's fault. Your human eyes perceived someone that you have programmed yourself to believe is trustworthy, and therefore you missed the fact that his teaching was not fifth dimensional. It was more law of attraction than anything. And his presence had no sentience to it at all. So we have to really start paying attention to what we give our loyalty, where our hidden programs are within us, and what the messaging is going to look like as we move forward through the next however long, a year, a couple of years, where so much of what we believed to be true is going to be manipulated by AI and fed back to us. So I know this is a bit of a long video, but then again, some of you've asked. I'd like some longer videos on YouTube. So here's one for you to digest. Meet me in the comments if you have anything that you would like to ask. Please, again, keep my content, my spaces clean of judgments of other people and conspiracy theory talk. This was a really important teaching because you have to be on your toes. You also need to know that it's possible for you to be able to connect and really feel into whether the person that you are following is truly in their sentient expression of divinity and whether their speak is aligned to the fifth dimensional templates. Until next time, bye for now.